Okay, we're going to be talking about inequalities. And what inequalities, when you think of the word inequalities, what you should think about is just less than, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to. So this is when it's a range of numbers that makes the equation true, not just one number. Where if you say x equals something, that's just one number. When I say x is greater than some number, then all the numbers greater than that number make the equation true. So let's take a look at the signs just to remind ourselves. Greater than is right here. Greater than, equal to, less than or equal to. So the one way to remember that is the less than kind of looks like an L. L for less than. The line underneath here is just equal to. One of the first things we're going to do is just basic graphing on a number line, what some of these equations look like. So I have three equations here. X is greater than 5. W is less than negative 3. V is greater than or equal to 0. I'm sorry, V is less than or equal to 0. And Y is greater than or equal to negative 2. And we're just going to graph the range of numbers that make this inequality true. And one thing to do, you should remember from last year, the difference between when you have a greater than or greater than equal to is basically you fill in the point that we start with. So this one has an equal to, this one has an equal to, and these two do not. They have an open circle versus closed circle. Open circle, you don't have an equal sign. A closed circle means you do have an equal sign in the equation. So let's take a look at the first one in black. X is greater than 5. So we look for the number 5 on the number line. It's an open circle. And remember, on a number line, greater than is always going to the right. Less than is going to the left. So here, X is greater than 5, open circle, and we should point an arrow to the right. This one here, W, is less than negative 3. So let's go to negative 3, open circle, there's no equal sign. And again, it's less than negative 3. So negative 4, negative 5 are less than negative 3, and so on and so forth. Anything to the right of negative 3, like negative 2, negative 1, would be greater than negative 3, and we don't want those. So all these numbers would make this equation true. V is less than or equal to 0. So here's the first closed circle. It's a closed circle because we have the equal sign at the 0, and anything less than 0. So we would everything going to the left. And then finally, Y is greater than or equal to negative 2. So at negative 2 we have a closed circle because we have the equal sign. Y is greater than negative 2, so it's everything to the right of the negative 2. All right, now let's take a look at when we reverse the variable. So for example, here I've got, all right, I think that's good. I've got these equations here. Now let's take a look at this next group. Negative 4 is less than y. And you have 3 is less than or equal to w. So basically the variable is on the right versus the left. And if that gets confusing for you, what you can do is swap the two numbers, or swap the y and the negative 4. However, when you swap the y and the negative 4, you're going to have to change. You're going to have to flip that sign around. So this is a less than, I would make it a greater than. So my equation's really negative 4 is less than y is the same as y is greater than negative 4. So this is a closed circle at negative 4, and we go to the right. It's greater than, y is greater than negative 4. All the numbers, remember, greater than is going to the right. Here's another one. 3 is less than or equal to w. If I want to swap those two, I have to also swap this sign. So here I put the w on this side, 3 on that side, but I have to flip it from less than or equal to greater than or equal to. Remember, the w here is greater than or equal to the 3. So w is greater than or equal to 3. I'd go to the 3. It's a closed circle because of the equal sign. And w is greater than or equal to negative 3. So everything to the right of 3. Negative 5 is greater than x. I'm going to flip those around, say x and negative 5 here, but then I have to flip that sign to be less than. I can't just flip these two numbers and keep the same sign. I have to also flip the sign. And what I mean by that, I change it from greater than here to less than. So let's take a look at that. Negative 5 is right here, and x is less than or equal to, or I'm sorry, less than negative 5. Open circle and everything to the left. And then finally, negative 1 is greater than or equal to v. If I want to kind of swap those two around, I'd say v is less than or equal to negative 1. And so if we go to negative 1, it's a closed circle, and anything to the left is less than. All right, so just to keep in mind, if you want to swap the variable and the number, you must also flip the sign. More to come.